But let's talk about the deadline because we've had a few
Yes.
trade rumors going around. There's some 3-team deals rumored with a mystery team involved with us and the Raptors apparently, where we would be giving them Jakob Poeltl, obviously getting some kind of draft capital back. Gary Trent's involved. Not sure if he's
Hmm.
coming back to San Antonio or going to the mystery third team.
Yeah.
Um, but evidently, we are shopping Jakob Poeltl, so that's news.
Well, and also the thing about that team trade specifically, the reason why they're having to get another team involved is to compensate the Spurs with 2 first-round draft picks. So the
Mm,
fact that like that might be a possibility, we were
yeah.
talking about that and we were thinking, that's probably not going to work, even though that's what they were demanding. If they can end up pulling it off in a 3-team trade, where like somebody gets Gary Trent and that first-round pick
Mm,
goes to us, where we get the 2. Great. I didn't even think of that as a possibility, but I should have. Like now that that's being discussed, it's like that's
yeah.
probably the most realistic way we're able to get 2 first rounders.
I'm curious. Somebody mentioned it in a comment earlier. Does that 3-team deal also include either or and or whatever it is, Josh Richardson and Doug McDermott as
Hmm.
well? Um,
I think that yeah. So that was H to the Dizzle or Hizzle. we
yeah,
have we appreciate you, my guy. I saw the other comment as well. And he was talking about Lakers rumors, but regardless,
mm,
that could still potentially be in this trade as well. We know that the 3 most tradable guys on the team are our 3 vets, which are Jakob, J. Rich, and Doug.
with Doug playing the way he's been playing the past couple of games, he's
Oh my
finally
gosh! Last
upping that.
night,
3 for 3 from 3-point land, and one was
in people's faces too.
yeah,
Right.
tough shots moving off
Hmm.
screens, not just like standing in the corner, which is the kind
Yeah.
of shots he'd get if he were to play with, I don't know, LeBron James, maybe? I don't know.
Just anybody.
Yeah, pretty much
Anybody with
anybody that can
star
draw
power.
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Mm,
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, like we were just saying, those are the 3 guys that it seems are the most involved. Um, but yeah, especially if we're gonna if Jay Rich and McDermott are if like that Westbrook trade comes to fruition. I don't think that it necessarily will, but I did see today on Twitter, like, and I know how that can be. We'll see how
yeah.
true it is. But at the same time, this is something that's kind of been, festering. Even in the offseason, there were conversations about this, and it was like the Spurs were still having conversations about this. And it's still kind of interesting to me because he's like playing really well as their 6 man right now. I
Mhm.
mean, I get you want to get out of the cap situation that they're in,
Yeah.
and they're not going to win the championship this year anyway. So I do, if you're playing long term and trying to like build the best roster around LeBron and AD for next year, I understand it there. Which the more I think about it, that's probably what they're doing. Um, but I definitely, if we're including like Jay Rich or Doug, like one of the other, then I think like the first round pick, 2 first round picks thing is very like justified. If it's just Jakob, I can understand. Like, it's great that it looks like we're figuring out a way to potentially do that. But if it's those guys, then I totally understand. If it's Jakob and Doug, or Jakob and Jay Rich, or all 3, then I definitely agree. I'd want to, and I feel like that would be reasonable.
I'm curious if we would buy out Russ or not, because
Yeah,
he's made it very clear that he doesn't wanna be bought out. I know that's only maybe something that he's saying so he doesn't get traded, uh,
but,
but
like, does he wanna play in San Antonio?
that's
I
also
don't
the
think he
thing.
does. Yeah,
But
not
but
on
ma
this team.
but maybe he would, because the big complaint with Russ is that he doesn't care about winning, he just cares about getting his stats. So, this would be a perfect place for him to just get stats and lose, right? So,
We
maybe
do
he
need
would.
another guard.
We need a point guard technically right now, right?
But, like, then he'd take minutes away from Wesley, and
Yeah.
if that's in the
Yeah.
plans, which is what we were talking about, then I think the buyout becomes more realistic. I know, like
Mhm.
you were saying, I guess there's some I haven't seen that, but that would make sense just knowing Russ. Um, but I think that, yeah, with Blake Wesley looming, I feel like if we trade for him, we're gonna buy him out.
I find it also just very difficult to believe that they are going to trade him because of how well he's
Yeah,
been
I
playing
don't
the
think
past
that
few games.
happens.
He's on a 6 man of the year candidate. So, like, he's on another tear right now, and if they can
Uh-huh.
find a way to get now I feel like I'm a Lakers GM. If they can find a way to get Jay Rich and or Doug McDermott and keep Russell Westbrook at the same time, that's a huge win. Now they'd probably have to definitely give up that first that they've been holding on to, and we'd only get one first for the both of them. I'd be totally fine with that, but that would really round out their roster because I'm a huge fan of their Rui Hachimura acquisition. I think he has a lot
I
of
like that
upside.
too.
He's a 6'9" big. He can play 3 or 4 basically. He can guard, I don't know about ones, but 2 through 4 for the most part, and he's a knockdown shooter. And he's only 23, so
And this is the most talent he'll ever have had around him. So
1000%.
his job should be the easiest it should. I mean, it's still the Lakers, but like still.
Yeah. There's really nobody in front of him either. I mean, LeBron's
Mhm.
kind of playing the 4 right now, but he really wants to be playing 3 when AD gets back. Will they play AD at the 4 with Thomas
Mhm.
Bryant at the 5 and then bring him in off the bench with Russ to kind of be that dynamic duo, maybe pick and roll partner? Who knows? But the Lakers hope. I mean, I'm kind of a Lakers fan. I hate to break it to everybody else, but I'm not a fan of LeBron James, uh, but yeah, hopefully we're able to get a first from them if we can.
Speaking of that, we play them tomorrow. So I'll be
Mm.
up late for that, seeing what happens there, watching LeBron probably go crazy.
Rui
Um,
dropped 30.
right. Rui, just complete explosion
Mm.
game
One of
debut.
the many Kawhi Leonard comparisons on draft night, by the way.
That's crazy to think
Yeah.
about. Um, God bless him. I hope he reaches his potential, but that's just wild looking back
Mm.
on it. But when you were talking about the Lakers, the more I was thinking about if we do end up making a deal with them, I think Jay Rich is more likely than Doug if
I
they
think so
keep
too.
Russ, just because his contract is half the price of
Do,
Doug's.
the Lakers don't have any seconds anymore, though, right? They gave them all up.
I
Pretty
don't
sure they
even
gave
know.
them all away to get
That
Rui.
probably
Because there was also a
over
rumor
the
going around
years.
that the Spurs they cut their price for Jay Rich down to 2 second-round picks,
Hmm.
rather than I think they were trying to get 1 for him, but now it's just 2 seconds, which I think is way more likely, but I don't know if the Lakers even have 2 seconds at this point. They've been just dishing out their picks right and left.
3-team trade. Get the
There
picks
we
from
go.
somewhere.
There we go.
Oh my gosh. Any other thoughts on the trade deadline and maybe some other potential things in Spurs world, Ethan?
It's going to be an exciting couple of weeks, next couple of weeks. Every time I hear a Woj bomb go off, my heart stops a little bit, looking for the like Spurs at the first couple of words. I'm like,
Hey
please,
man, after Derek last year, we believed it's
yeah.
possible. It's like now we're expecting it,
I think
which is
something will go
weird.
down. I don't know
We'll
if
make
all
a move.
3. Yeah, we'll make something happen. Somebody will be moved. I don't know. One of the 3 vets for sure.